Have you ever been curious about kitchen table poly? I know I was. Check out this episode and we'll tell you all about it. Hey guys, it's John and Jackie of OpenLove101.com. Welcome to our show, and today we're going to talk about the 14 different varieties of swinger relationships or open relationships or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but we're going to turn it over to Courtney and she's going to let us know what the first one is.
Okay, I think it's pretty simple. Ethical non-monogamy. What is that?
Ethical non-monogamy. So, monogamy is defined as two people in a relationship exclusively, no one else. Jackie and I kind of talk about it being both social and sexual.
Right.
So you can be like, Jackie and I are socially monogamous,
Right.
but we're ethically non-monogamous, meaning
Right.
I give her permission to be with someone else, or not really permission because it's all about ownership thing. And vice versa.
Nice save.
In her case, she gives me permission. In my case, she's an independent woman and she can do whatever she wants to do. So
That is not.
no.
Don't let him fool you.
So that would be ethical non-monogamy.
Which we also use consensual non-monogamy as well.
Yes.
They're kind of interchangeable.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Anyway.
Perfect. So the next one is polyamory.
Hit it.
To me, that's when, polyamory kind of translates into many loves. So it's the ability to have multiple relationships going simultaneously. And when I say relationships, I mean, kind of loving relationships. It can be sexual relationships. Those more intimate relationships that you have with somebody. Polyamory wouldn't be like John and I, and then John has all of these friendships, or I have all of these friendships. That doesn't make us polyamory, even if I love my friends. This is something more about relationships.
Sexual relationships.
Sexual
and
relationships.
It can cross over into, because I noticed, I looked up the other day the definition of polyamory, and it has really changed, I think, in the last 10 years to where younger people are using it more often as a way to describe their open relationship.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean they're in love with both people
Right.
and having two full-on relationships at the same time or three at the same time, which is how I used to look at it. I used to think of polyamory more about, for instance, I would live in the household with Jackie and my other partner and share my time with both and love them both to some degree. Socially, at that point, we wouldn't be monogamous. It would be more socially non-monogamous at that point. But I think today more and more young people are using the term
Situationship.
a situationship would be, yeah, and open relationship as well. So I think they're using the word polyamory in the same way.
Yeah.
Perfect. The next one is hierarchical polyamory.
Okay, so that would be like, this would be the main relationship in a poly setting. And we would have more power, I guess, more than the other people that are in that relationship. Yeah. I don't know how else to. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
how do
think
you explain that?
The hierarchical polyamory would be the type of polyamory where the relationship that Jackie and I have is the main relationship, and then I would have a relationship with someone else, and that would be the secondary relationship.
Yeah.
But my marriage is the number one relationship. So there is a hierarchy to the relationship model at that point, which is really what it comes down to.
Right. Good job.
Thanks.
So the opposite of that, solo polyamory.
So that's when you have a single person that's involved in a polyamorous relationship, and they want to be single in that.
Yeah, the relationships with themselves.
Right.
Yeah. And then you have a thruple or a triad.
That's an easy one. So a thruple is three people in a relationship. It could be sexual. It could be more, which that would border, into polyamory. But if it's just a sexual, like a swinger relationship, a thruple could be Jackie and I, and with the third partner could be a guy, or it could be Jackie and I, and our third partner could be a girl, and we might travel to a club together, and we would call ourselves a thruple. I think it's used more often when they're in a relationship together, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. It can be just a sexual relationship.
Perfect. What about a closed V?
Closed V?
Closed V.
Yeah, that's a stumper.
Is that where, like, you and I have this relationship, and then you have a relationship with somebody else, but I don't have a relationship with that other person? Is that what that is?
Correct.
Oh. Way to go, Jacqueline.
Winning.
Yeah, y'all can be friends and stuff, but you're not sexual with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What about polyfidelity?
I know what that is.
It's like this high-end sound system they used to have back in the 70s.
Close, John.
My big
Jackie?
brother had one. I remember he showed me he had this like side platter, and it really did sound good.
That's hilarious.
Good try, John.
Yeah.
Jackie.
Say that again, because now I'm like...
Polyfidelity.
Polyfidelity. Yes, that's when everybody in the poly relationship is only interacting with everybody in that relationship and nobody outside of that.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, yeah. So they're all partners amongst themselves, but
Yes.
they're not opening it anymore.
But they're not
Oh,
opening
okay.
it open. Yeah.
So that's kind of like closed V, except it's with more than it's with additional partners.
It's a circle,
Yeah,
basically, or a
it's a-
square.
Yeah.
However you want to do
however,
your shape.
however, whatever shape, but it's closed. Yeah.
Monogamish.
Yeah, so monogamish is kind of like, I mean, you're like married or with one partner. You would consider yourself in a monogamous relationship, but kind of, because you play outside of that relationship a little bit.
So like a hall pass type thing?
Yeah.
Like you're given like, oh, if you go out of town, I don't care. But as long as you're not playing at home.
I would say that would be considered monogamish, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Or maybe it's more like Jackie has open relationship. For the most part, is we play outside of our relationship, but we don't really we haven't really lately developed any relationships with like more long term. They've been more like one night stands, so it's more monogamish at that point. Our relationship today seems more monogamous than it does open.
The other thing to remember too is it's how you are defining it in your relationship. You know, John talked a little bit about the difference between social monogamy and sexual monogamy. And for a couple that's monogamish, that can also be where the social aspect of their relationship is a little more open. So maybe for them, being monogamish is the wife being able to go to lunch with a guy friend, or the husband being able to go to lunch with a coworker or another kind of friend. Like, it doesn't even really have to be defined as a sexual opening. It can even be like a social opening. They can, have activities together. Maybe the husband loves to play golf. The wife does not like to play golf at all. So, but there's, a friend of his that he has, and she loves to play golf. So they can go play golf together. And it's not a threat to the relationship because they're able to open up that social side of the relationship to incorporate other people of the opposite sex. So, yeah.
Perfect. And then there's the don't ask, don't tell.
That's the, I consider that the Italian way of having open relationships. And I've seen a lot in Italy and also in Spain where the married couple will have someone on the side. The spouse knows that there's someone out there but doesn't want to know anything about it. And vice versa. It can work for both of them. They can both have relationships going on the side, but they don't talk about it within their relationship. It's completely opposite of Jackie and I's relationship. Like, I want to hear about her relationship with other people, and she the same with me. So we talk about our outside sexcapades, whereas don't ask, don't tell relationship wouldn't do that.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The thing that I love about our relationship is because we're open with each other and honest, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with don't ask, don't tell, but when I was listening to you describe that, one of the great benefits of being open is we have the ability to have each other's back. If there's ever an issue, it's not like one of us doesn't know what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
So there's kind of like that strength in numbers mentality. Wow. Which, whatever the couple agrees to, is what matters. But just listening to you describe that, it makes me realize like how great it is that you and I are open and honest with each other, is because then if something were to happen, it'd be like, oh yeah, we totally knew that was going on. And we're okay with that. So anyway.
We could experiment and try a don't ask, don't tell for 3 months and see what happens.
We could. But we like to talk too much.
I know. We'll get back to you on that later.
The next one is kitchen table poly.
Yeah, that's more of a polyamorous relationship. To me, it seems like they're living together, but it doesn't have to be that way. Where maybe it's myself and then and Jackie, and then we have my girlfriend lives in one of the other guest rooms, and we all meet at the kitchen table in the morning and have breakfast. It's more we all get along and in that way. No, I'm wrong?
You're wrong.
Okay.
I thought it was we were having a great meal in the mornings.
That's what I was probably leading up to, yeah.
Nope, it's the opposite of don't ask, don't tell. It's where everything's on the kitchen table.
Oh. We have like a kitchen table
You made
thing.
it too complicated.
Yeah. We got us kitchen table stuff going on at our house.
Yeah.
So that's what that's called.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it's just everything's out, and
Yeah.
you can just talk about it over dinner. There's no drama. There's no animosity. It's just, I'm glad you had fun. Glad you tried that with them. How was it? Kind of situation.
I love
And that
that.
kind of goes hand in hand with like the buffet relationship.
Yep.
Or the smorgasbord.
Oh my God.
The next one might be a little difficult. It's swinging or the lifestyle.
I don't know. Do you know what that is?
Lifestyle.
I don't know what that is. Swinging. It seems so primitive.
Seems so 70s.
Yes.
And so that's, the swinger lifestyle over the years has got shortened to just the lifestyle within our group. Like if you hang out with anyone at any of the clubs or a party and you say, oh, I'm in the lifestyle, that's what they're referring to as the swinger lifestyle, not the Harley Davidson lifestyle or the vegan lifestyle or some other kind of lifestyle that's out there.
Right.
And it's essentially like an umbrella term for all of these things we're talking about. So a swinger could be a couple that just goes to a club and they hook up with another couple there and they never see them again. Or it could be they go to a club and they meet a couple, they hook up, they go to dinner, and they continually hook up together. So it could be all kinds of things. It could be soft swap, full swap underneath that swinger umbrella. It could be just people that like coming to the club and hanging out there and dressing sexy and having a good time. They might consider themselves in the lifestyle, but they may not really do anything sexually. So it's really an umbrella for all types of open sexual relationships.
Yeah.
Perfect. What is soft swap swinging?
Oh. You want to go for it?
Sure. So that is when you and your partner, like maybe you're going to a club, you've decided that you want to go to the back and maybe, get intimate with your partner a little bit. You find another couple that you kind of are attracted to and you hit it off and you go back in there. But you don't actually switch partners. You stay with your partner and the other couple, they stay together, and then you're just in the same environment, but you're not actually, is that right?
So I would take it a little step further, probably. I would
Maybe you
say,
could, but you're not having intercourse.
It just wouldn't. There wouldn't be intercourse involved.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
Soft swap. You could, maybe
Kiss.
swap and kiss the other partner and fool around and things like that, but there would be no penetration.
Right.
So then hard swap
would be
full on. Anything goes. Those things are normally all in the same room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both soft swap and full swap.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then BDSM non-monogamy.
In the same sentence?
Yeah.
Well, BDSM is bondage, masochism.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that has to do with, bondage and spanking and being spanked.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's tied with non-monogamy, I guess would mean they're able to do that outside of their relationship as well.
Yeah, I think in the article that I'm reading, the terminology has it where they could have a sub or a dom outside of their relationship.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and that could, because you will have relationships where maybe somebody is more into that side of a relationship model, and maybe, like, let's say John is into the BDSM and I'm not, so then he has somebody that he plays with that kind of satisfies that model for him.
Yeah. And if you're in the area of where any of our clubs are located, right now it's at the Austin location and the Houston location. We have an event called Shrine on once a month on Sunday nights, and it's an umbrella of different kinks, including the BDSM kink. It's a great event. Click on the link below here, and it will take you to our calendar page that talks about this particular event. So if you're into that or you're curious about it, definitely check out Shrine.
It's a great way to introduce yourself into that world.
Yes.
Perfect. The next one is open relationship.
An open relationship is like what Jackie and I have, and we're socially monogamous. I mean, it's just, we have home together and business together and travel. We do so many, our lives are really intertwined with each other. We just love each other. We have great marriage. But it's open in the sense that either one of us can go out, hang out, and have sex with other people.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then the last one
and just one more thing is our open relationship, I just want to point out, is we don't have to do those things together. We can do them separately. So John can go out of town and he can be intimate with somebody that he's out of town with while I'm at home. So we don't have to be, that's another kind of thing. We can do that separately. We don't always have to be together.
And you can make up your own set of boundaries for an open relationship as well. In Jackie and I's case, we don't always tell each other beforehand something's going to happen. There have been times where we tell them after the fact, the next day or something like that. Yeah. So we don't. If I'm out and I go up to the bar at a restaurant to have dinner and I'm sitting next to someone there and we end up hitting it off, that can just progress to whatever it's going to progress to, and I can just tell Jackie about it later.
Yeah, because if he finds somebody and it's like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, you better not call me.
Well, your phone's off anyway, but
that's true. Yeah.
Perfect. And then the last one is forget the labels if you want. You don't have to label your relationship. It's just what it is.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah, mine too.
That's my favorite.
I mean, we talk about what we are and how our relationship works, but for most of my life, people would ask me, and I would just say, yeah, I don't really have a label. I don't define myself. I'm just really open-minded. Open-minded would be the label that I would use for myself normally.
Yeah.
And I think labels can be very restrictive. And,
and stigmatizing.
And that's true, too.
Right.
I want you to talk about that. But 20 years ago, some of these things you're talking about today, Courtney, some of these, definitions or labels, I don't remember them 20 years ago. More and more keep coming up. And if you look at how we label ourselves in the terms of our sexuality and other things, the list just keeps growing. And so for me, it's almost too complicated. I just want to have fun with life and not have to worry about how to define myself.
Well, and I think too, when we start having too many definitions, it starts to create separation instead of unity. And really, I just want people to look at John and I as who we are and how our relationship is, and not get too caught up in what they think the definition of our relationship is. So, I talk about it so that we can have some of these things out in the open. I do think that there are some restrictive things for people that want to have a different relationship model than a more social or sexually monogamous relationship. I think as adults we should have a degree of freedom in being able to do that and still be able to function in our jobs and still be able to separate that from what we do in a business, from our personal lives. And that's why we talk about it. But really, ultimately, what we should be doing as a whole is just looking at how those two people function together. Mm-hmm. And are they highly functional people in that relationship? And if they are, pay attention to that. They may be able to offer some hints and tidbits and some qualities there that you can incorporate into your own relationship and benefit from. So, like you said, while the definitions can have some advantages, to the degree of, being able to know what column things goes into, but we can get in danger of alienating ourselves from one another when we start doing that. Instead of, what are all of the great things that we can all do that bring us together? So,
and there are some instances where it comes in handy. Like if some of the definitions describe more that you pointed out to us, Courtney, describe more of where we are in our swinger relationship, like hard swap or soft swap. Right. And if you meet a couple in a club and you want to go play, that would be important to let them know, because that's more about a boundary of where you are sexually if you're going to play. So those kinds of labels can be kind of a generic way to say, these are our boundaries. We only do soft swap. And now, in another couple's mind, soft swap could mean some things that you guys aren't into. Like maybe that couple thinks that kissing is okay as soft swap, and maybe you guys aren't even into kissing. So you have to be a little more specific in your boundaries when you're going to go play. But in general, that gives them an idea. If they're looking for someone to do a hard swap with and you're soft swap, they may back away at that point. So they do come in handy in some cases like that.
Yep.
Go to openlove101.com, sign up for our email list, and we'll send you updates on our videos, articles we may have coming out, things that we have going on. Also, if you would, go to our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and follow along and see how Jackie and I live our lives, what we do day to day. Thanks for joining us today.
See ya.
Great job, Jackie. And if you like that video, please click the button below, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll give you plenty of more. Plenty of more? Kidding me?